Pennsylvania voters are really used to going to the polling place and casting a ballot on a machine. This year, that's totally different. For the first time, any Pennsylvania voter can vote by mail, providing a real alternative to showing up in person and voting. There's also a little bit of uncertainty still, so we can't tell you all of the rules necessarily, as they will be. But what we know is this: there are a lot more lawsuits than normal challenging the rules, and lawmakers in Harrisburg are still considering changing some of the election law. More than 80% of Americans can vote by mail in this presidential election. Mail voting has traditionally been used by people in all parties, but that's become divided.
Absentee voting, great. But this mail-in voting where they mail indiscriminately millions and millions of ballots to people, you're never going to know who won the election. You can't have that.
In the past couple of months, we've had a lot of false attacks by President Trump, and now far more Democrats than Republicans in both Pennsylvania and the rest of the country are planning to vote by mail. In fact, in the Pennsylvania primary in June, 2 out of every 3 Democrats voted by mail. That's the opposite of Republicans, only 1 out of 3 of whom voted by mail. Let's be clear. Despite claims to the contrary, voting by mail doesn't lead to some sort of massive voter fraud. The bigger concern? The post office sent letters to all 50 states warning that it can't guarantee that mail ballots will be delivered in time with state deadline. In Pennsylvania, the deadline to register to vote is October 19. And the deadline to request a mail ballot is pretty close to the deadline for when you have to return it. So this is the key. You really want to make sure your vote counts. Do it early. Register to vote, request the ballot, fill it out, return it. Do all of that as soon as you can. Don't wait. So how does voting by mail work? We know it's done successfully in other states. In fact, absentee voting has been done in Pennsylvania and elsewhere going back to the Civil War. It's not new. What is new is many states in recent decades have really expanded mail-in voting. Some conduct their elections almost entirely by mail. That's what New Jersey's doing this year. Others, like Pennsylvania, allow people to choose how they want to vote. You can apply for a mail ballot online, by mail, or in person at your county elections office. And once you receive it, make sure you fill it out properly. In addition to ballots arriving late, some of the biggest reasons that they get rejected is because something was filled out wrong. So if you want to make sure your ballot gets counted, here are a few things to remember. Fill it out according to the directions. No stray marks. Make sure to sign the mailing envelope, and you want to make sure that your signature matches what's on file. Speaking of envelopes, there are going to be 2. Put your ballot first into the white secrecy envelope, and then into the mailing envelope. And again, mail your ballot back as soon as you can. If you're cutting it close, and you're not sure whether your ballot will arrive on time, talk to your county elections office and research your options. You can turn it in person, you might be able to use drop boxes. There are a couple of ways to go. Throughout the process, you can use the Department of State's online ballot tracker. That includes being able to see whether your application was approved, whether your ballot was mailed out yet, whether it was received, and whether it was counted. And if the ballot tracker doesn't show that your ballot was received, call your county elections office to see what's going on. And then you wait. Yeah, that's another thing that's different in 2020. So many people are voting by mail this year, and it takes a long time to count each individual ballot, so we might actually not know on election night who won. So be patient. Unlike what you're used to, the initial results could actually be just not that meaningful. And remember how more Democrats than Republicans are voting by mail? That means that there's a really good chance that the first votes to be counted, the in-person ones, are more likely to be Republican. That also means that there's a really good chance that the Republican lead on election night might change. It could even flip in the days afterward. That's not fraud. That's not a sign of election rigging. That's just what happens when you count all the votes. And if you don't want to vote by mail, that's okay. You don't have to. Just like in the past, you can still go to the polling place and vote in person. Just don't forget to wear your mask. Check the website for your county elections office and the Pennsylvania Department of State for the latest info. And for more on how to vote in this year's presidential election, check out the Inquirer's Guide. That's inquirer.com/howtovote.